The Obtain Specific Label Information and Compare Labels reports on Agri-Intel's label database. In the Label Information database, we have two sections, the Obtain Specific Label Information as well as the Compare Labels. These two sections are our most comprehensive reports on Agri-Intel, and they're exactly the same in terms of the information that they give you. However, the Obtain Specific Label Information is only looking at one product at a time and detailed information thereof, comparing labels of the same active or crop or target. So it's comparing multiple products at the same time. In these two reports, you're able to access detailed information regarding the application or the resistance classes or dosage rates or any detailed information about the product itself. So if you're looking for more of that information, you can access any one of these reports. If we want to access specific label information, you can do so by accessing it on our left-hand side, or if you're already in the database, by accessing one of the drop-down menus here. We're going to just select a certain trade name for this report. So we're going to click on Search by Trade Name. But again, you can search by any of these search by options and still be able to get to the same answer. The optional filters, again, are available on all of the reports on Agri-Intel, and you can make as many selections as you want to from any of the optional filters, but it's important to click on the filter button before proceeding with your search so that the options are available to you. There are two report types which Agri-Intel offers for the Obtain Specific Label Information and the Compare Labels reports. For these two report types, we have the basic label information, which looks at information pertaining to the product itself. So your active quantity, the formulation of the product, your resistance codes, all of the basic label information. Next up, we've got the application information report, and this looks at more detailed information regarding to your crops and targets and dosage rates and application types and how you would apply the product. So you can access either one of those two reports under these two sections. So for the point of this video, I'm just going to draw one report for the Obtain Specific and one report for the Compare labels, just to show you the content of what's available in those reports. So now we're going to do an application information report, and we're going to select a specific trade name, because remember that Obtain Specific Label Information is only looking at one product at a time. So we're just going to use the drop-down list and scroll and select a trade name that we'd like to see. Then select the registration number that is available, and then we'll click on Submit. The report structure of the Obtain Specific Label, the first few columns are exactly the same as all the other reports. If you'd like more information about these columns, please refer back to the Download Labels video. If we scroll to the right, we then have the crop or use group, so the broader group that the crop belongs to that you can filter on there, and then the crop and the target that that particular product is registered on. This will give you a line-by-line account again, not as per the download label section, so it's showing you the exact crop and the target that is registered for that product. Next up, we have the dosages. So the dosage rate that is applicable to the particular crop and target combination, and should there be the target repeated for the same crop and there's a different dosage rate, there will be a comment applicable to show you why there is a difference in the dosage rate. So you can always refer back to that. Next, we have our application types. So how would that target then be controlled on that crop, and how would it need to be applied? And then as we're working now on a herbicide, the herbicide application stages will show you now that this product would need to be applied pre-emergence to the weeds. So this column is handy to see when the application would be for a crop or a weed. Next, we have our label indicates active, our label indicates crop or use, and our target, and more information regarding these columns are available in our search registration information video. Next, we have our general comments. Should there be any applicable, these will be captured in this column. And then our restrictions will show you if there are any restrictions in the use of the product. So this will be applicable to any cultivar restrictions or geographical locations that you may not apply the product for a particular crop and target. If the label is indicate a maximum number of applications for that combination, that will also be indicated under the maximum applications. Next, we have the application instructions, should the label have indicated some detailed information there. And should you need to apply an adjuvant in combination or an alternative mixing partner when applying the product to this target or pest, you can then access this information here or on the label. The next column is the compatibility column. And here, if there is information regarding the compatibility, you can access this under the compatibility column, or if there's no information available, we will indicate that there is no information on the label itself. The next column is the re-entry interval, and this is a new feature that we've added to the website, so we're still busy populating this, so please check back to see if the re-entry interval is captured there for your purpose. And the next column is the follow-up crops for the waiting period for the herbicides. So we indicate that just for the herbicides as the label is indicated. And the next up, we have a level of control. So some labels indicate that a target is only 90% controlled, or it's been suppressed or suppressed at a specific dosage rate. So if there's information regarding the level of control, we will then capture it in that column. Next, we have the registration status. So all the products in the database are currently registered, but should they not be marketed, we just make a note in that column. Next, we have the label reference and the database reference. For the label reference, this makes use of a reference number on the PDF as sent through by the registration holder, and that label is uploaded to the website, and that reference number then becomes the label reference. The database reference is referring to the reference number of the label that was used to capture the detail in the database itself. So sometimes the information might differ, or the dates might differ between the label reference and the database reference. So you can always just confirm by accessing the latest information, which will be the PDF itself of the label. On all of the label database reports, we have these filter buttons or sorting options. You're able to select either the up or the down arrow, and it will then sort the data either in ascending or descending order should you require it in that field, and it will group everything together. So it might make reading the report a little bit easier. The hide show columns feature is also available on these obtain specific label and compare label reports, and this will be shown a little bit later in the next example. Once you've got the information that you require, you are then able to either print it directly, save it as a CSV or as a PDF by clicking on the download CSV or download report. And please note that information obtained from the website is for your own personal use and not to be incorporated into any third-party programs or sent on to any third parties. Once you've obtained the information and you have saved the information that you'd like, you can then click on the back button to access the website again. If you want to make a new search on the current page that you're on, click on the Clear All button in order to remove all the searches and filters that you've applied, and you can start with then a clean slate. So that was looking at the application information report. So now we're going to go to the compare labels report and select a basic label information report there. So now we've selected the compare labels and a search by active ingredient and a basic label information, and we're now going to select a azoxystrobin from the drop-down list that is available to us of all the active ingredients registered in the database. And you will now see all the combinations that azoxystrobin is in the database. So let's say we want to look at all of those options. We're just going to click on the Add All button. And then underneath that, we still have to make a selection by either a trade name, crop, or target in this case. So we have to select a minimum of one of those in order to proceed. So the crop or use, and this is now showing us all the crops that are registered, or that have a registration with azoxystrobin. So now we just want to see all of those crops, so we're just going to click on add all, and everything moves over to the right block so that we can see all the registrations for azoxystrobin. We're now going to click on submit. And again, our report is exactly the same in terms of the first few columns, but you will notice now in these basic report types for the compare labels and the obtain specific label information is that you've got one trade name per line here. So you've got all information together on one line per product. If you would like to see more information about the details of all these products, you can then refer back to our download labels video. If we scroll to the right, this is what makes this report a little bit different, is that now you've got information regarding your chemical class of your active ingredient. So you're able to filter on certain chemical classes and see the actives that fall under that group. You're able to also filter then on your active quantity and see how much active is available in that particular product, as well as the formulation of the product. So you can compare different formulations if you're looking for something specific there. Again, you've got your category column, and then we've also got the group code, so your resistance management code as according to the FRAC, IRAC or HRAC codings. We keep this up to date as according to the international regulations. Next, we have the label indicates active. So should we have made any extrapolation, we have indicated it for the active ingredient in this report. The mode of action and the mode of translocation. However, these are columns which we've added, but we have not yet populated information from this. So this is for future reference. And then for our registration status, here we have a note that there's only one product in this list that is registered but not marketed. Again, our label reference and database reference is available to you in these reports as well. If we look back and we want to scroll and see which of these azoxystrobin containing compounds have a 500 gram per kilogram active quantity, we can just use the filter buttons and filter on that, and the system will then show us the trade names applicable. And let's say we don't want to see all of the columns in here, we want to make our report a little bit more condensed, we can make use of our hide show columns feature, and it will then show you all the headings in the report, and the ones that we don't want to see, we can just then deselect from here, and then the report will become much more condensed, and you'll be able to see all the trade names in this example, which contain 500 gram per kilogram. Again, our hazard classes key is available at the bottom of every report. Once you've got the information again, you can print, download as a CSV or download as a report, and remember it's for your own usage. Please click on the black button in order to go back to your initial search, where you can then do a clear all in order to start a new search on that same report. So this video basically just showed you the two report types that are applicable to the obtain specific label information and your compare label sections, where the obtain specific label is only looking at one product at a time, whereas compare labels is allowing you to compare multiple products at the same time. Should you require any more information, please do not hesitate to contact us.